Tusk intro was self-indulgent. Or maybe you thought the analysis was biased or woke or some other fucking buzzword, huh? Oh, sweetie, I wrote the script for that video before the 2024 election, when I still had a glimmer of hope in my heart. Not during the transition lead-up, not around inauguration, not during the absolute clusterfuck that the orange fucknut and his circle jerk buddies have decided to dive the country face first into. No, that was before the election. This? You're getting post-election, post-inauguration Shepherd, and he's got some feelings. So, buckle the fuck up, because my hatred for the oligarchic bourgeois has not gotten better in the last few months, and it generally stems back to that chrome-ass looking affront to humanity, Samuel Hayden, who I swear is looking more and more like modern-day tech CEOs every goddamn day. Nope, wait, I can hear some of you in the back. What about Olivia Pierce? She's the one trying to rip open the gates of hell and serve humanity up on a demonic platter. And you raise a valid point. I mean, by all accounts, Hayden is not actively stonewalling your efforts at every turn, so why no hate for Pierce? In a way, her honesty. Even if she doesn't realize her pawn-like status in the grand demonic scheme of things, there's no pretense to who she is or what she wants. She wants to unleash demons on Mars and beyond, so she seeks to do that and stall the one who might put a damper on that, namely Doom Guy. Consider that antagonism in storytelling takes multiple forms. Pierce occupies a conflict creator slot, opposing the Doom Guy's efforts as often as she can, based on their contrasting goals. Pierce wants to blow hell's doors off its hinges and effectively offer up humanity to the demons, and Doom Guy wants to prevent said demonic incursion. No problem there. What I do have a problem with is Samuel bitch-ass Hayden trying to paint himself as the good guy while he's the one who cracked open the door to hell in the first place. Hayden is another conflict creator, defined by his contrasting goals with Doom Guy. Hayden wants to preserve the facility to continue harvesting hell energy to supply humanity's energy needs, and Doom Guy wants to prevent the demonic incursion, no matter what he has to break in order to do so. So, yes, Olivia Pierce, bad guy in a very traditional sense. Samuel Hayden, bad guy in a far more sinister way, convinced that he's the hero, despite being the architect of everything gone wrong. Anyway. Capitalism is, at its core, an economic system for the individual, propped up by private ownership and hierarchies. The means of production are owned by those at the top of the hierarchy, and production is for the sake of profit. Capitalism, in its current form, is a system of expansion, an unending pursuit of more, amassing more resources to produce more products, to sell to more consumers, to gain more profits, to start new ventures, to start the entire cycle over with something else ad infinitum. To stop expanding, to stop producing, is to fail. On a singular scale, consider Oreo, producing more and more abominations to the recipe when, honestly, the original was the best and they reasonably should have stopped there. Or on a massive scale, think of Amazon, expanding from a bookstore to an online marketplace to a grocery store operator to a pharmacy service to a streaming service to a delivery service, and so on until all are one. In a hierarchy-based system as capitalism, those at the top of said hierarchy are in a unique position of crafting the narrative. They can be the supplier of jobs, of resources, of a thing that people want or need, a guiding light, a voice of reason, a leader outside of their business. They leverage their success in commerce to project an air of authority outside of that sphere. After all, history, according to the popular adage, is written by the victors. Which brings us to the actual backbone of capitalism: laborers and workers. Workers earn wages in exchange for contributions to a company's capitalistic expansion, but nowadays, it's rarely enough to make a reasonable living. Paying a worker the minimum wage, after all, is a company telling you, I would pay you less, but it's illegal to do so. Yet workers and laborers wake up damn near every day to go into work, to make what they can to serve their immediate needs, while capitalists at the top play the long game with the actual fruit of workers' labors. So, we're all caught up? Capitalists are morally reprehensible shitbags who would see the world burn if it meant increasing shareholder value? Workers are underappreciated and downtrodden despite being the actual bedrock of the system that has made every effort to grind them into dust? Same page? Same page. Let's talk doom. Do you ever wake up angry at the world because you immediately have to go into work? Doom Guy gets you. He wakes up and immediately has to do his job, beating the ever-living piss out of demons. Life under capitalism feels like a similar grind. We may not be immediately threatened by demons at the foot of our bed, but our limbic systems have taken a massive hit to the perception of stressors in the last couple hundred years, so similar principle. Doom Guy rolls out of bed and learns the basics of what he has to do today. Demonic forces have infiltrated the Mars Union Aerospace Corporation facility, resulting in a massive loss of human life, so he's gonna have to do something about that. He barrels through the holding site, blowing off director Samuel Hayden the first time he tries to talk to him, before getting to an elevator. Hayden, ever blind to the plights of the individual, has some poorly chosen words for Doom Guy.
I'm willing to take full responsibility for the horrible events of the last 24 hours, but you must understand. Our interest in their world was purely for the betterment of mankind. Everything has clearly gotten out of hand now, yes. But it was worth the risk, I assure you.
To those in capitalist-based power, the long-term potential benefits will always outweigh the short-term individual cost. A human life, 100 human lives, every human life on Mars means nothing if we can keep using hell energy for other humans to consume. It has a similar air of,
I'll kidnap 1,000 children before I let this company die.
Those in power also expect for others to fall in line. In our world, it's the long struggle of needing money to survive, granted by an employer, or in performance reviews, or workplace politics and gossip. If you step out of the line we've dictated, you will fall back in line, or consequences will befall. Termination, threats of termination, social ostracization. Hayden manifests that dynamic with Doom Guy by geographically kneecapping him until Doom Guy agrees to help Hayden. When Hayden can't convince Doom Guy to act in Hayden's interests, he forces Doom Guy to cooperate by barring Doom Guy access to his goal. Later, he applies a dimensional tether to Doom Guy's suit without asking. Those in power will threaten to withhold anything from others in order to form a facsimile of loyalty, and will trap those same people in a circumstance out of their control in the same breath. And another thing about Hayden's need for things to go, quote-unquote, his way. This man got brain cancer and decided, instead of just dying like the rest of us have to, he's going to upload his consciousness and just enough biological material into an android exoskeleton to keep on living. For people in positions of power and capital, even the laws of nature can be bent to their whim. The rest of us? We're lucky if they provide healthcare plans that actually provide healthcare. Doom Guy gets one of the big bullet points, though. If the means of production cannot be reclaimed, then better to destroy them, lest the Chrome tech boy continue to find a way to profit on the demonic incursion. Hayden claims that the Argent filter machinery is the only thing solving Earth's energy crisis, which processes hell energy into a usable energy source. But that draw has also been what cracked the door for the full demonic incursion. Call me old-fashioned, but people would probably take an energy crisis over an imp actively eating their guts. Like, damn, just build some solar panels like a normal person. But it costs money to rebuild and restructure the means of solving that crisis, and it's so much easier to keep drawing energy from hell instead. Remember, kids, renewable energy isn't all that great if you have to draw it out of hell itself. Once in hell proper, Doom Guy follows a past expedition of Hayden and a squad of UAC Marines. With each new update on the journey, the Marines are fewer and fewer until only Hayden remains at the end. Whether classifying this as a military operation or a corporate expedition, these Marines had some degree of loyalty to Hayden, forced or not, protecting him throughout this yet uncharted hellscape. And yet, even at their most devoted, they were nothing more than resources to be expended. Hayden, ever focused on his goal, didn't give them a second look back as Hell kept claiming them. And on his way to Hell the second time, Doomguy encounters the Cyber Demon in the UAC facility, a truly unholy abomination of demon biology and human-based cybernetics. Capitalism is an illogical state of existence, constantly in pursuit of more when resources are limited, when said resources are better spent on something, frankly, less terrifying. More beneficial to mankind would be nice, but benefiting the collective is rarely profitable. Capitalism spits in the face of just because you can doesn't mean you should, because Hayden can profit off of this. Somehow. Probably. He'll figure it out later. Hayden goes on to instruct Doomguy to destroy the central processing core of Vega, the facility's AI, to open another portal to Hell. As Doomguy pushes through and explores the core, the amount of labor hours that went into the facility, into the AI, feels astronomical. And yet Hayden has moved past that to, blow it up so you can go back to Hell. There is a time and way for improving on what has come before, tearing down the old to make way for something new, but this is callous and dismissive. As always, subverting his own role in the demonic incursion while justifying more destruction to paint himself as the good guy. Hayden is trying, in vain desperation, to pull an about face on his actions and failings, even as he continues to minimize the work of others. And don't even get me started on the worker solidarity between Vega and Doomguy, both workers set under an absolutely incompetent superior, both forced into doing his bidding, whether through programming or forcing their hand. In the end, it's Doomguy who preserves Vega from complete destruction. Hayden didn't even mention the backup function. Workers have to defend workers, because the people at the top could not give a shit about them. And finally, victorious over the demonic incursion, Doomguy is yanked back from Hell by Hayden. Hollow congratulations ring out from Hayden before he snatches the Crucible, a late-game MacGuffin, from Doomguy. With full intent to restart Argent Energy production, Hayden shunts Doomguy to places unknown. His purpose, according to Hayden, is fulfilled. Doomguy is a resource that no longer serves a purpose.
I am not the villain in this story. I do what I do because there is no choice. Our time is up. I can't kill you, but I won't have you standing in our way.
With this, Hayden follows in a long line of capitalist tradition. Leadership taking credit for the efforts and labor of the people who actually did the work. While Doomguy is off trying to get back to Earth, Hayden kickstarts Argent Energy production again, despite that door to Hell being functionally closed and witnessing the carnage from last time it was opened. No matter. Without that pesky Pierce around to make things worse, everything will definitely be okay. And there go the demons invading again because Hayden cracked the door open. Again. So he allowed demons to enter our world and cause catastrophic harm and loss of life. Twice. Logically, this should ruin anyone. But as demonstrated in our real lives, career-ending mistakes don't necessarily end one's career. Hayden turns around after demons start to invade Earth and positions himself to lead the charge with the Armored Response Coalition, based on his own testimony of the events from the Mars facility. Samuel Hayden twisted the entire story around to serve his wants in a world-ending war. A fable of his own writing. After everything he did and perpetuated, he still has the audacity to call himself the hero. One last note on the actual hero of Doom, our beloved Doomguy. His campaign of anti-capitalistic raising started long before he woke up in that sarcophagus on Mars. Once, Doomguy was any other run-of-the-mill Marine. According to the original manual from 1993's Doom, Doomguy's commanding officer ordered his soldiers to open fire on civilians. Doomguy hated that, so he punched the CO so hard, or so repeatedly, jury's out on that one, that the officer was sent away in a body cast. Doomguy was subsequently transferred to Phobos, where in the ensuing original demon nonsense kicked off as a result of some military research projects. 2 points in there to unpack. First, with these military research projects, there's something to be said about the capitalist tendencies of the military being in a constant pursuit of being more well-equipped, even, as is the case of America, when they're already so well-equipped. But I don't have the bandwidth to unpack that. Second, with the orders to fire on civilians. Civilians oftentimes position themselves in the way of capitalist expansion and quote-unquote progress. Think of protests in recent memory, oil pipelines, police brutality, political pushback. Basically, if you're not part of the machine, the gears are there to chew you up and get you out of the works. Or worse, assimilate you to the machine. But then there are those parts of the machine that get a little rusty or bent out of shape or loose. Capitalists gamble on those gears just falling out of the machine. Gears can be replaced. Gears are just resources to be swapped out when they no longer function as designed. You know, like people. But what really throws them for a loop is when that gear gets stuck in the machine, gums up the works, punches their CO so hard that they explode. When the gear starts to cause other problems, compromises more and more of the mechanics until the machine is no longer doing or able to do what it was designed to do, when the machine can no longer function, that's when capitalists begin to panic. Because if they've seen one person punch above their class, how long will it take for everyone to start taking aim? The issue here isn't in the exchange of money for goods and services. We have been a society of hunters, farmers, storytellers, crafters, healers, all supporting and relying on one another through the things we aren't skilled with. The issue is in capitalism, in having one person or a small group at the very top, claiming ownership over the labor and all that it produces and accomplishes. The issue is the top of the pyramid not caring what others must do or how many others must suffer in order to prop themselves up even a little more. But Doomguy stands as the ultimate realization of anti-capitalist frustrations. One gear can compromise the machine. People are not resources to be expended for a leader's goals. Anger is a valid response to indifference and apathy. Those at the top will try to hide from the truth, but they know that they are scared of us. They are scared of just how much damage a single stubborn gear can do. Think about how scared they would be if there were more.